And he said, you know, it would actually be valued at like 93,000. But you know what? We don't want that. We don't even want that. That's not what this is about.
It's not about the money.
We want them all to live. We want the science to go on, and we want the cause to change policies to make things that work. We want CFIA to revisit everything that isn't working and actually work with the farmers to make things work.
And I hope the federal government looks very carefully at appropriate compensation to ensure they're made whole, and not that can fill in for the massive loss that they've seen.
We thought we were doing something so good here, which we are doing something so good here, to bring something natural back to the animal sector and the human health factor, and that was the antibodies. And we just have such great opportunity here, and we're fighting tooth and nail.
The world is watching what's happening at Universal Ostrich Farm in BC, where I bring you this next report. In case you haven't seen the background of this story at our special website called SaveTheOstriches.com, let me tell you that this flock of 400 healthy ostriches who I've seen playing with balls, chasing each other, and looking at us with just as much interest as we're looking at them, are about to be called at any minute, any second, any day now by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, who has refused to test them for antibodies when the farmers claim they not only have been healthy, but are immune to the virus. This has been going on for months. The initial culling order took place late last year. The farmers stood their ground. There were some younger ones who got sick. Anyways, I don't want to tell the whole story because I actually have a really good interview for you today with co-owner Karen Esperson and her adult daughter, who helps on the farm and who has really been helping and sort of the face of this fight, Katie Pasitny. I'm going to go ahead and just let them do most of the talking about the background of the story. This is an important fight for freedom, which is why so many freedom fighters have showed up. You know, it's kind of like the trucker convoy, except it's the camper convoy or the prairie convoy, whatever you want to call it. And they're coming and gathering. So make sure you continue to check our website at SaveTheOstriches.com. It also has all the farms information in there and how you can help if you want to help them. And please, if you value that Rebel News, has independent reporters like myself come out and get our boots on the ground. So nothing gets twisted here like the convoy. We showed you who the truckers really were and how peaceful their movement is. We're doing the exact same thing here at Universal Ostrich Farms. If you appreciate that, consider going to SaveTheOstriches.com and also chipping in a few bucks to help cover my expenses, to have my boots on the ground, to bring you reports about what is going on in Edgewood, BC.
All right, it's been quite a day, and I can see how hard you guys work on the farm, but not just that, the fight. I don't know how you're doing it, but I'm so glad to be sitting here in your home. It's actually such a privilege to see what's going on and have all the people out here. So for those who have been following at SaveTheOstriches.com, here are the farmers, the family. And we're going to get talking to them right now about what's been happening. Okay.
What a day.
Yeah, what a day.
What a day. Every day is a different day. It's such a big day. We have the hard-earned. My mom is such a warrior on the farm and taking care of the animals and her passion in her life. We've grown up with the animals, so we've grown up with them and they've grown up with us. But today was a small win in a big battle. So we went to RDCK, the regional district, who was going to accept the carcasses of our animals through the Canadian Food Inspection Agency contract. And I fell in there right at the brink of time. We had 2 questions left, and literally, thank you, Farrell, for driving so fast. And we drove, fell in there right at the nick of time, got into the door. I stumbled in there emotional, as we are. And we just talked about there are questions about, they made a assumption that we've lost our cases. We haven't lost any cases. We've just been put through our judicial review experience. I asked them to redact that from their record because it was inaccurate information and they would be liable to leave that on the record. I showed up with the emotion from our farm and my mom and all of our livelihoods. They came back at 1:30. They asked us to come back, and they came back with a full motion and acceptance. Everybody agreed that they would not accept any ostrich carcasses within the RDKC region or RDCK region that is not tested after May 15th. They want the animals retested to make sure that they are avian influenza free, which is something that we've been denied and met with resistance on, and threatened 6 months in jail and $200,000 fine if we retested our animals on our own to show that the public health and safety is not a risk. So today was a small win in a big battle, and Drea, it's fantastic to meet Drea. Finally, you've been covering this so passionately, and we want to thank you as a family and as a farm.
Well, thank you for the passion that you guys have to fight for farming sovereignty, because as we know, a lot of farms before you, over 200, have been impacted by culling orders in British Columbia alone since 2022. And we're not seeing this, Dan, but we know that they are thankful for you fighting. I want to show a little bit about what you just explained, what took place, and then some of the emotions afterwards.
Our animals are happy, they're healthy, they're laying eggs, they're beautiful, and we are being restricted the chance from retesting our animals to prove to you as the public that they are recovered. We are being threatened 6 months in jail and $250,000 fine to bring you that evidence. So where do we stop this? We stop it at Universal Ostrich Farms.
Please say no.
You just have to do something. Wow.
Oh, this is amazing. Amazing. They're crying.
They're crying.
Oh my God. They did the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was emotional, even for me. I was very privileged to be in the room at the time. But let's talk about what's happening outside on the farm. Why was it important to call people here? And what are you thinking of the turnout?
The turnout is amazing. We heard last night 70 people signed in. And then today, people have been coming steady. When we were driving out, it was just a line of traffic coming in. The support is absolutely incredible. It means the world to us, to the farm, to the cause. And it's amazing to see. And it was one gentleman said, Jim had said to me, he said, "This is amazing." He goes, "The feeling here, because everybody's so calm and supportive and caring." And he said, "But this is uniting people from everywhere. Everybody's coming together from everywhere." And he said, "It's this cause, it's you guys, everything that you're doing here." And it really hit home, resonated that, and I don't even think it's, when I think of us, I think of the birds. These amazing animals have started a movement. My daughter, to hunker down. I'm so proud of Katie and all the efforts and the work, and just everybody who's come here for some reason or another. It's like they were meant to come here, and somehow everybody's helped in one way or another. And it's just like, this is so important, this cause, that we really get it now.
The ostriches are the perfect Trojan horse, and they're the catalyst in this journey. They are igniting inspiration across the world. And the world is watching what's going to happen here at Universal Ostrich Farm. So we have the worst, most challenging time. But Universal Ostrich stands for making this most challenging time into the most triumphant opportunity for the world to see that we can create change when the people's voice matters. And when we come together, we can make a unified group that can create a catalyst of change. When you look in these big ostriches' eyes, their eyes are so beautiful and big, and it's like you're looking into the world. You're looking back into the world. When you look into their eyes, they're looking back at you like, I'm a prehistoric, flightless animal that surrendered. You know, I've won. We survived the dinosaurs and the extinction, and here we are with our natural immunity that can offer so much to the world. And we could stabilize this crisis that we have right now, but so many more in the future. We have support from Senator Kennedy saying that we should be saved as a research facility. We have Doug Ford saying we should be saved as a research facility. That, you know, John Catsimatidis, you continue to surprise me and bring forth so much support. Everybody that has sacrificed. I got told too, it's not a sacrifice when you come here to the field. You're coming here to, you know, give up on something, give to what you believe in. And everybody in the field that is hunkered down, we're feeding one another, we're loving one another. And we've heard on my trip home from Nelson today that everybody says, this is the next trucker convoy. This is what Canada was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And we're reinstilling that the heroes need to be maintained as the heroes.
Yeah, my other report, it does have a trucker convoy vibe to it, especially the love and you know, people coming together with the food and everything like that. And you talk about people coming together. There are some other politicians who have started to speak out as well, some local ones. You have MLA Jordan Keeley, who's an independent with Peace River North, and your local MP, your Conservative MP, Scott Anderson came. And I have been so busy running around on the farm and talking to people that I've only heard, we'll have to throw to it, that Premier David Eby said something about it. What do you guys know about that, since I haven't seen it yet?
Well, the one nice thing that David Eby did say, he acknowledged that, you know, yes, we should be compensated well, but I think that every farm, we deserve that acknowledgement as independence. We should be examined for the uniqueness that we are, in his words. Sorry, not mine. I'm trying to relay that, but that was his. He did make a comment.
Yeah, the Minister of Agriculture and I think British Columbians are a little bit frustrated by the actions of this federal agency. We understand the importance of containing the bird flu and the important role that agency plays. What's hard to watch is lack of discretion and ability to evaluate case-by-case scenarios. Let's take that away from the specific instant case and just talk about that generally. It's been a consistent experience that farmers have had with federal agencies. Devastating for this family, for this farm, for these folks who are trying to build a life for themselves. And I hope the federal government looks very carefully at appropriate compensation to ensure they're made whole, and not that can fill in for the massive loss that they've seen.
Jordan Keeley will be here tomorrow with Jacqueline, his assistant. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He's flying back in to be here for the farm. So thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Jacqueline, for the opportunity at the legislative level. And we have, I think, Tara Armstrong and her husband were thinking of coming out. Scott Anderson, thank you so much for coming out again to the second time to the farm and saying how much and putting forth how much you want to protect us as a research facility and bring this opportunity to the world and not shield it from the world, because right now we have opportunity. So rather than killing millions more animals, why are we not threatening, instead of threatening the next pandemic, why are we not using the opportunity that lies right here at the Universal Ostrich Farms to try to protect animal and human health? And so we've had lots of opportunity.
Now, you mentioned what is going on here. A lot of people are obviously understandably saying, what the heck is going on when this culling order is still maybe about to happen? when it was placed in December.
Yeah.
It's May now. They're clearly healthy, as we've seen.
Beautiful.
And you explain what has been happening with the research and the eggs. How about you guys tell us that?
The big thing with the research is the antibodies, the natural antibodies that we can actually provide a treatment or a solution to a problem. And one of them is H5N1. And when the ducks came here and naturally brought their H5N1 virus with them, our birds picked it up. But only half of the farm. Half of them, obviously, we now know must have had something previously years before, because none of them got sick at all. And it was just the younger breeders on the farm that had come after that that actually showed any signs. And when they showed signs, well, yes, we did lose definitely some, but we knew with ostrich and their immune system, or any animal, herd immunity would kick in. And we lost 15%. So we know the science behind it. 15% of the herd literally states that it was a low path. If it was a high pathogenic virus, we would have lost 75% or more. So being that we've lost the 15% regardless, the government, off two simple PCR tests,
Controversial PCR tests,
somebody called anonymously, and two simple little PCR tests, they went and had them tested at a lab that wasn't even certified to really diagnose it properly. They could only diagnose the H5, not the N1. So you need the N1 to adhere to something, so they didn't even know what they were dealing with.
But they still signed our cull order.
42 minutes after the test, they had signed the cull order for the entire farm.
Sorry, we're so in tune. Before that, those tests went to the accredited lab in Winnipeg, and they were where they could diagnose it. Then we got notice that the RDCK was notified and asked in November. Before we had the anonymous call of H5N1, they were put on notice and asked if they would accept a large volume of large animals. So in November, so that was before. There's a lot of, I don't know if I can say it, but it's sinister, the whole thing. Do we have the antibodies that prove a lot of, the valuable assets to human health and animal health that puts us at odds with Big Pharma? Absolutely. If we're not pro-vaccine and that, then you're not working with the big guys. And so we are fighting tooth and nail for, thought we were doing something so good here, which we are doing something so good here, to bring something natural back to the animal sector and the human health factor. And that was the antibodies. And we just have such great opportunity here, and we're fighting tooth and nail. Like I said, she's in the pen, I'm out of the pen. I'm everywhere. And we just are trying to bring awareness and education to all farmers across Canada and across the world that these governing bodies that hold so much power and no accountability need just to be brought back down to earth and given a little bit of accountability so that we can create the change that we all deserve. And our government money is funding these organizations that are the organizations that are the ones that are coming back at us as in the agricultural sector as experts, and they're working against us. We should be recognized as experts in our industries. Our farmers are heroes. They're putting nutritional food on our plates every day, and I just think that we need to keep our heroes our heroes.
Well, I feel like every time I interview, there's so much happening so fast. We have the win, but also, Karen, earlier you were telling me off camera that there was an FOI that you guys did, and you got some information about the genome to the virus. What can you tell us about that?
We asked for the genome sequencing shortly after. They did it like January 6th. They got it back by January 10th, and we asked from then on, we said we want the sequencing so we could have scientists study the science behind it also. Since then, we finally got it, but we got it like a week before cross-examination, so we had no chance to submit anything. We had no chance to study it. But the scientists did study it, and then we found out it was actually a hybrid. And the hybrid meaning that, and they said it's really rare, but the chromosomes that 3 of the chromosomes were a low path and 4 of the chromosomes were a high path. But they said when the 2 are mixed like that, it can't be a high path because it's crossed. So we knew right away then it was a low path. But they weren't ever bringing up the science behind it, and that's why they withheld it from us, because it literally was, as they said, just a hybrid. So now we did a Freedom of Information, and we asked for the complete genome sequencing. So we just got it back. I haven't myself even had a chance to look at it, but this is 2.5 months later of asking for it. And so I forwarded it on immediately to the scientists to have a look at it. And we know for a fact when they did get their hands on it, the report they wrote behind it would have solved and settled our case in court. But because we were not able to have that information, access it, utilize it, and submit something, it was actually devastating for our case in court.
So what is next? Definitely you had a win, but it's not totally the end game here, because the CFIA could be trying to find another way to do this, or maybe they're going, wait a second, there's a lot of people watching, the pressure is on. Do we want to go through this? So what do you know about it? And also you were considering doing an appeal. So where do you think the fight is at now?
We will definitely, we are not stopping. We are a strong family, and we are a strong united front with all the people out front that believe in exactly what we're fighting for. An appeal is in the process. But again, I just want to, there's a couple things. Remember, really important thing is that Canadian Food Inspection Agency does not need to continue this legal battle. They could come here any day and say, you know what, let's retest your recovered flock. Let's show the world and our trading partners that, oh, you're a recovered flock. Yeah. Let's study you. Let's solve this. But they continue to battle us in court. 5 lawyers from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and we had 2. And we were sitting there. So now they're trying to stick us with $15,000 of their own court costs, salt in the wound, when we're trying to help humanity and help our animals. They can come onto our farm, any farm, based on suspicion. You don't need a test for them to come on your property. Suspicion, they can come on your property and kill all your animals. We're fighting for the right thing to happen here, for some change to happen. Canadians and the globe are all around the world. We deserve it. The world is watching, and the world continues to watch. So that's where we sit today. We're going to fight and keep fighting the good fight on appeal. The lawyers are fighting, and every day we wake up, we put our feet on the ground, and we just kind of start a new day of forgiveness and love and faith. And we hope that the right thing will be done. Justice will prevail with science and truth.
And I hope the federal government looks very carefully at appropriate compensation to ensure they're made whole, and not that can fill in for the massive loss that they've seen.
Maybe something's going to happen. He's actually saying something. He's not federal, but still this is affecting many BC farmers. But he threw out the word compensation. I've interviewed you many times. You have never once given the impression that you're in it for the compensation. No. But for people wondering what that's all about, what can you speak to about that?
There is no compensation that's big enough that would let us want to stop fighting for all other farmers across Canada and across the world. That change has to happen. And I think we can both agree to that.
They again dictate the rules because according to them, it's a $3,000 cap. Well, for 15 years of sales, a rooster would sell for $7,500. We've had a mathematical engineer figure out a formula for what would an antibody hen be worth. And he said, it would actually be valued at like $93,000. But you know what? We don't want that. We don't even want that. That's not what this is about.
It's about the money.
We want them all to live. We want the science to go on, and we want the cause to change policies to make things that work. We want CFIA to revisit everything that isn't working and actually work with the farmers to make things work.
Yeah. Their exemption process is absolutely misleading. We were given an exemption package here on the farm that was meant for a commercial poultry facility, which we are not. We battled the poultry definition. We are not poultry. We are a red meat, flightless bird. When we were given the exemption package, it was meant for geese, chickens, ducks, and turkeys. And we were like, where's the ostrich? Why do we have this exemption package? And they said, if you don't fill this out, you don't comply, you will not be offered the exemption. So we did. And we just need every farmer to be looked at in a unique and different manner. And that's what we're fighting for, is that if you're stamping out and you're eradicating all natural immunity, you better know what you're doing, because there's severe consequences in the future. And we're not looking ahead enough. We're looking here. We're not looking there. And I think we just keep saying that we don't need to make another big mistake like COVID. Let's prepare ourselves properly, and let's use our experts in their fields, like the farmers and the epidemiologists and the immunologists.
If you appreciate that Rebel News has their boots on the ground to be your eyes and ears for the good and bad that is about to go down at Universal Ostrich Farms, please consider helping our ongoing coverage on this fight at SaveTheOstriches.com.